Paper 1 from June 2019. This is pure stats again, so let's have a look. We start off with title page. We've got a formula sheet as usual, straight into question 1. It's given that f of x is that. Well, that's not very useful to me looking at the questions, given that we want to differentiate and integrate. So the first job is to rewrite that into a useful form. So let's do that. Index laws, f of x is 3x minus 5x to the minus 3. F dashed of x then, so we're going to differentiate. 3x just becomes 3. I'll have minus 5 times minus 3, which is plus 15x minus 3 minus 1 is minus 4. B, f double dash, so I'm going to differentiate that again. Constant terms disappear. I have 15 times minus 4, so that's minus 60x to the minus 5. Integrating, so we're going right the way back to part A, to the integral of f of x with respect to x is the same as the integral of 3x minus 5x to the minus 3 dx. Integration, so we're going backwards. I have integrated, so I'm going to lose the big integral signs. That's going to be 3x, increase the power by 1 to 2, divided by the new power, so 3 over 2 x squared. I'm going to have new power is minus 2, so I'm going to divide by that. So minus 5 divided by minus 2 is plus 5 over 2 x to the minus 2, and of course no limits, so we have a plus c on the end. Question 2. The circle x squared plus y squared minus 4x plus ky plus 12 has radius 1. Find the two possible values of the constant k. So let's find this circle where we can equation circle where we've got radius in it. So let's have x minus 2 all squared minus 4 plus y plus k over 2 all squared minus k squared over 4 plus 12 equals 0. So if we take everything across that we need to take across, I'm going to have x minus 2 all squared plus y plus k over 2 squared is equal to k squared over 4. Then I had plus 4 minus 12, so that is plus 4 minus 12 is minus 8. And then we know it has radius 1, so therefore k squared over 4 minus 8 is equal to 1. So we are going to have k squared over 4 is 9, k squared is 36, so k is plus or minus 6. And there's my two possible values. Question 3. Detailed reasoning, so let's not just jump in with a calculator. In this question, you must show detailed reasoning. F of x is 2x cubed plus 3x squared minus 8x plus 3. Show that f of 1 equals 0. So, f of 1, detailed reasoning, so let's write down all the steps. So substituting 1 in wherever I see an x. So that's going to be 2 plus 3 minus 8 plus 3 is 0. As required, solve the equation f of x equals 0. This is where we've got that detailed reasoning. We can't just shove it in the solver. We need to use the factor theorem to do that. So what are we going to have? So part A tells us that. So B, if f of 1 equals 0, that means x minus 1 is a factor. So therefore, we can try and divide that. So if you have a better technique than me, please use that. But I'm going to use the grid method. So I've got x, I've got minus 1, and I know that I need 2x cubed to start with. So the only way to get that is from that being 2x squared. I would then have 2x squared times minus 1, so that's minus 2x squared. I need positive 3x squared, so that's got to be plus 5x squared there. So those two can add up to be positive 3. That means this has therefore got to be plus 5x. So that's minus 5x. I need minus 8. So I need another negative 3x on that, which makes negative 3 on there. And then I check negative 1 times negative 3 is positive 3, which is the last term. So we are correct. Right, so therefore, our equation we had, f of x, is x minus 1, 2x squared, plus 5x minus 3. Now, to give you some hint about what I'm going to do with this, let's have a look on the calculator to see what happens when we solve the second one. Do we need to spend loads of time factorising, or do we go straight to the discriminant and show it has no solutions? So, degree 2, it has 2, it has 5, and it has minus 3. So it has a solution, and it has a solution. Right, let's factorise that then. So you could use AC if you want, but there's nothing to say, oh, I can do this in my head. I've just seen the solutions, so I know that I've got 1 there, which is going to be x plus 3. And then I need to get, that's going to be a 2x, and if I want minus 3, that's going to be minus 1. So therefore, my roots are x equals 1, x equals minus 3, and x equals half. It then goes on to say, hence solve the equation 2 sine cubed theta plus 3 sine squared theta minus 8 sine theta plus 3 equals 0. Well, of course, this says hence, so we need to use what we've just done. And if you recognise, we have exactly the same form, so 2 something cubed plus 3 something squared minus 8 something regular plus 3. So we've got a hidden, in this case, a hidden cubic. So that means if 2 sine cubed theta plus 3 sine squared theta minus 8 sine theta plus 3 equals 0, well, therefore sine theta is 1, sine theta is negative 3, or sine theta is a half. That middle one, we have no solutions because it needs to be between minus 1 and 1. So there are no solutions. If sine theta equals 1, well, let's have a quick sketch of the sine graph just to refer back to. So I'm going to have 90 there, 270, and I've got 180 in the middle, 360 on the end. If sine theta is 1, that only occurs once in that region between 0 and 360, so therefore theta is 90 degrees. If sine theta is a half, well, that means that theta is 30 degrees, and if we draw a line across at a half, we have our initial intersection 30 degrees away from where it first crosses the axis, and our next one is by symmetry the same distance away, but this time it's 30 degrees in front of the 180, so I get 150. I have those 3 solutions. Question 4. find the coordinates of the stationary points on that curve. So if I see stationary points, that says to me dy by dx is 0. So let's find what dy by dx is. So if y is x cubed minus 6x squared plus 9x, dy by dx is 3x squared minus 12x plus 9, and we're making that equal to 0. We divide everything through by 3. So x squared minus 4x plus 3 is 0. That's probably going to factorise. That looks like that is x minus 1, x minus 3. So x is 1 or x is 3. So that's our x coordinates. We then need our y coordinates. So if that's the case, so if x is 1, y is 1 cubed minus 6 times 1 squared plus 9 times 1, or 1 takes 6 plus 9, so let's just check that. 1 plus 6 take 9, that is minus 2. And if x equals 3, y equals 3 cubed minus 6 times 3 squared plus 9 times 3. So let's try that. 3 cubed minus 6 times 3 squared plus 9 times 3, which is 0. So my stationary points are 1 minus 2 and 3, 0. We are then told the equation x cubed minus 6x squared plus 9x plus k equals 0 has exactly one real root. So let's try having a look at this. X cubed minus 6x squared plus 9x plus k equals 0. So what we could do, if we do a little bit of rearranging of this, we can see that we've got x cubed minus 6x squared plus 9x is equal to negative k. Now the reason we want to do that is because that left-hand side is exactly what we had in the first part of the question. So what this is therefore saying is this, if we draw the lines x cubed minus 6x squared plus 9x, and we draw the lines y equals minus k, any intersections will give us our roots. So let's look at drawing that left-hand side, which is the easiest bit to do. So we know we have a cubic. It's a regular cubic, so it starts in the bottom left. It's going to go through 0, 0 because there's no y-intercept, and it's got a stationary point of 1, minus 2, and 3, 0. And is that possible? Can it go through? Let's have a look. Let's just double check some things here. Right, let's just check. Whoops. Let's just check the roots of the original equation. So we've got 1x cubed minus 6x squared plus 9x and 0. That's going to go through 3 and 0. Yeah, okay, we got that. It's going to go through 0, and that's it. So apparently that's going to go... Oh, I know what's going to happen, sorry. It's going to go along there. And then it's going to do that. So we have got then, that's 3. We've got 1 minus 2. Let's just double check that, because that can't be right. So let's just check what that stationary point's coordinates are. Let's just solve the polynomial we had in the second with the dy by dx. So we've got 3 minus 12 and 9, which is 3 and 1. Okay, so we're happy with those. So let's just go back and just check that again. So y is 1. I'm going to have 1 cubed minus 6 times 1 squared. Let's pop a 6 in there. That seems to have disappeared. Minus 6 times 1 squared plus 9 is 4. No idea why I got minus 2 before, but again, drawing the graph alerted me to a mistake, and I've been able to go back and fix that. Right, so we have got this. What we were saying is if we were to draw a horizontal line across, the number of intersections would give me the number of roots of the equation in the question. So for example, if I was to draw my horizontal line across here, like that, you can see I'm going to get 1, 2, 3 solutions to the equation, so that would have 3 real roots here. So places I'm interested in having this then, where I only get the 1 real solution, well, if I draw a line across at 4, I have an intersection at the top, and I have the intersection on the right there. So if I draw a line anywhere above 4, so let's say the line minus k is greater than 4, so anything in that top region up here would just give me the 1 intersection with the graph on the right hand side. Conversely, if I do it on the other side, so if I have anything below the axis, so again, if I draw my horizontal line along here, I've got 3 solutions. Anything then along this axis would give me 2, so anything below the axis, so minus k is less than 0. Well, we don't want k equals, we want to know, we don't want minus k, we want k, so if I have divide by minus 1, I'm going to flip the signs round. So I've got k is less than minus 4, or k is greater than 0. And those are the 2 solutions I've got for 2 marks. Right, question 5. Prove the following statement is not true. M is an odd number greater than 1, then m squared plus 4 is prime. Right, let's make a few values of m. You know what? Let's use the calculator to help me do this. So I'm going to use table mode, which is there. So I've got a regular pattern that I want to check. I'm going to have x squared plus 4. I don't want a second function. I'm going to start an odd number greater than 1, so that would be 3. I'm going to end, let's say we'll end at, we'll say 25, because they're not going to make you do too many of them. And we're going to go up at 2, because I only want the odd numbers. So what have we got? 13, 29, 53, 85. I can clearly see 85 is not prime because it ends at 5. So therefore, let's write something along the lines of if m equals, that's 9, m squared plus 4 equals 85. 85 is, what is that? 5 times, let's just double check that, because 85 divided by 5 is 17. Therefore, not prime. Right, by considering separately the case when n is odd and the case when n is even, prove the following statement is true. So if n is a positive integer, n squared plus 1 is not a multiple of 4. Right, let's start when n is even. If n is even, n is 2k. Therefore, n squared plus 1 is 2k squared plus 1, which is 4k squared plus 1, which is 1 more than a multiple of 4. If we do n is odd, well then n is going to be 2k plus 1. So then n squared plus 1 is going to be 2k plus 1 squared plus 1, which is 4k squared plus 4k plus 1 plus 1, which is 4 lots of k squared plus k plus 2. Well, that first bit is a multiple of 4, so this is 2 more than a multiple of 4. So this proves that always put that concluding statement in. This proves that if n is a positive integer, n squared plus 1 is not a multiple of 4. Job done. Question 6. Right, the diagram shows a triangle ABC with AB equals x, AC is y, and BAC is 60. We've got to do a show that, and we're only told information about the area of a triangle and those markings on there. So, if that's the case, we're given no other guidance. Let's start with the area of a triangle formula. So, area of a triangle is half AB sine C. So, x plus y times root 3 is equal to a half. A is x, B is y, and sine C is sine 60. With then, what's going to happen after that? If we do that, we can then, sine 60, we know that's root 3 over 2. So we can pop that in. So that's going to be x plus y root 3 is a half xy root 3 over 2. That half and the 2 on the other end, we could get rid of those, combine them to give me a 4. The root 3's are going to cancel each other out. So I have then got, I multiply 3 by the 4, I will get 4x plus y is xy. So 4x plus 4y is xy. As required. When the vertices of the triangle are placed on the circumference of the circle, AC is a diameter of the circle. So unusually, we have to think back to our circle theorems and think about if AC is a diameter, that means then that the angle at B is a right angle triangle. Because you have that circle theorem that says angles in a semicircle are 90 degrees. So we've got that at the top. We've got 4x plus 4y is xy. What things can we say? We've got, according to this, we've got 4x plus 4y is xy. Let's draw this out again in a slightly different manner. So I've got a right angle there. This bottom side was x. That's my hypotenuse, and that was 60. So that is my adjacent and my hypotenuse. So cos 60 is adjacent over hypotenuse. Cos 60 is a half. So y is equal to 2x. Let's solve that with the equation we had on the left-hand side. So wherever we've got a y, I'm going to replace it with 2x. So therefore, 4x plus 4 lots of 2x is equal to x 2x. 4x plus 8x is equal to 2x squared. I've got a quadratic, so let's get everything onto one side then. So 0, divide everything by 2 is going to be x squared. Originally it was 12x, so that's plus 6x. So 0 is x plus 6. Whoops, that would be x minus 6, because it was positive x, brought it across the other side, so that's negative, that's negative. That makes more sense. I couldn't have my length be negative 6. So therefore x equals 0 or x equals 6. Well, x can't be 0, that doesn't make any sense, so that can go. So if x is 0, y is 12. Question 7. Write down an expression for the gradient of the curve y equals e to the kx. Memory test time. dy by dx is ke to the kx. X becomes kx. The line L is a tangent to the point y equals e to the half x at the point where x equals 2. Show that L passes through the point 0, 0. So if x equals 2, we know then y equals e to the half times 2, which is just e. Okay, so the line passes through the point 2e. We also know the gradient dy by dx is half e to the half x. So that is going to be a half e to the half times 2, which is just a half e. So my gradient is e over 2. So equation of the straight line, y minus y1 is mx minus x1. So I can have y minus e is e over 2 x minus 2. So 2y minus e is ex minus 2e. 2y is ex minus e. Nope, that should be 2e if I expand my brackets correctly, which I didn't. So that just means 2y is ex. So therefore, if x equals 0, 2y is e times 0, so y is 0. So therefore L passes through 0, 0. It then goes on to say, find the coordinates of points of intersection of the lines y equals 3e to the x. So part C, y equals 3e to the x and y equals 1 minus 2e to the half x. So point of intersection, so we're going to make these equal to each other. 3e to the x equals 1 minus 2e to the half x. Let's bring everything across to one side because that's always a useful first step. Notice we've got 3 terms where the middle one has a power that is half of the other one. So this is a hidden quadratic. So let's find out what our solutions of the quadratic would be. So let's go into the equation. We're going to go polynomial, degree 2. I want 3, I want 2, and I want minus 1. So I'm going to get, therefore, e to the half x is a third, or e to the half x equals negative 1. Let's look at the graph of e to the half x. Now we can see it never goes negative, so that one has no real solutions, which you could check if you tried to do natural log. So the only one we've got then is this first one. We're going to take natural logs of each side, so a half x is ln of a third. So x is 2 ln of a third. Does it want a different form? Find the coordinates. So I have an x coordinate, so therefore y is 3e to the 2 ln of a third. We could bring the 2 in as a power, so we get a third squared, which is a ninth. So this was ln of a third squared, bringing that power in. So that means that is going to be 3e to the ln of a ninth. E and ln are inverses of each other. So I'm going to have 3 times a ninth, which I believe is a third. So my point of intersection is ln a ninth a third. I would not be using the calculator to work out what ln a ninth is. I'm just going to leave it as ln a ninth. Joseph drew a histogram to show information about one local authority. He used data from the age structure by LA 2011 tab. Blah, 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 blah. He used a scale of 1 centimetre equals 100 units on the frequency density axis. Calculate the height of the histogram block for the 0 to 4 class. So the important thing here is that you recognise that the class width is not 4 take away 0 because it includes 0, so my class width is 5. The height of this, so 1 centimetre is 1,000 units on the frequency density. So frequency density is frequency divided by class width. So 2143 divided by 5. 2143 divided by 5. My frequency density is 428.6. units. So 1 centimetre is 1,000 units. So my height is therefore 0.428 centimetres. Magdalene wishes to draw a statistical diagram to illustrate some of the data from method of travel. Why can she not draw a histogram? Method of travel is like car, bus, metro, light underground, walk, passenger in car, passenger in van, driver of car. All of those things are discrete data. Histogram is for continuous numerical data or continuous quantitative data. Histograms are for quantitative data, and for continuous quantitative data, method of travel is qualitative data. If I've spelt that wrong, let me know. Let me know in the comments down below if I have spelt that wrong. Right, question 9. Table shows information about the number of days absent last year by students in class 2A at a certain school. Calculate an estimate for the mean of this data. So that's going to go into statistics mode. Oops, that's it. Statistics mode. It's one variable statistics, and I need to pop on my frequency column. So I'm going to go into the setup for that and go frequency on. So my X, I've got 0, 1, 2 to 4, so my midpoint is 3, 5 to 10, 5. 5% is 15, divided by 2 is 7.5. So I've got 7.5. 11 to 20 is, let's get the calculator to do that because I don't want to have to think that hard. 11 to 20 divided by 2 is 15.5, and then 21 to 30, again, that looks like that's going to be 26.5. So I fill those in. I don't need more than 30. Let's just fill in our frequencies for those. So I've got 7, I've got 12, 9, 1, 0, and 1. All right, let's clear that off. APTN, one variable calculations, and my mean 2.43. So x bar 2.43. Find the median of the data. So we'll go down. Median is 1. Head teacher is writing a report on the number of absences at school. She wishes to include a figure for the average number. Governor suggests she should quote the mean. The class teacher suggests she should quote the median. Give another reason for using the median rather than the mean for the average number of absences. Standard reason for using the median over anything else. Median is unaffected by extreme values. That 21 to 30 is bumping that average right up. It doesn't need to be there. It's bumping the mean so much further up than it does actually need to be. Right, we're going for question 10. The data shows extracts from the method of travel. In one of these 4 new local authorities, a new tram system was opened in 2004. Suggest with a reason which local authority this could have been. So what we're looking for, new tram. So that's probably local authority 4. Looking at that, it has a huge increase in the number of people taking the tram. So let's say that. So part A, this is LA4. Huge increase in the number taking the tram. Julian suggests that figures for bus, minibus or coach for local authority 1 show that some new bus routes were probably introduced in this local authority between 2001 and 2011. So, use data from the table to comment on this suggestion. Well, LA1 has about a 50% increase in bus use. However, the population increase is, what's that? Let's just, oh no, I need to clear that off. Okay, menu 1, so we would have 118556, take away 79226, new, take old over old, times 100. So my population increase is also about 50%. So it doesn't really suggest that new bus routes were introduced. So there's no increase in bus use other than natural growth. So no reason to suggest new bus routes. In one of these 4 local authorities, a congestion charge was introduced in 2003. Suggests with the reason taken from the data which this could have been. So local authority 1, because the number of cars decreases. Local authority 2, we increase. 3, we increase. And 4, we increase. So this is probably LA1, and that has a decrease in the number of car drivers. And that's it. Right, question 11. It is known that under the standard treatment for a certain disease, 9.7% of patients will experience side effects within a year. In a trial, a random sample of 450 with disease was selected and the number X who experienced side effects for 1 year was noted. State one assumption needed in order to use binomial model for X. The probability of getting side effects is independent for all patients. Or you could say the probability of side effects is the same for everyone, or it's constant, or the patients were a random sample from the entire population. Any one of those three. It is found that 51 of the patients of the 450 experienced side effects for the year. Tested 10%, whether the proportion of patients experiencing side effects is greater under the new treatment than under the standard treatment. So we said this is a binomial distribution, so X is distributed binomially 450 people, and probability of success, in this case, success is getting side effects, is 0.097. H0 is that P is 0.097. H1, we're trying to find out if the proportion is greater, so P is greater than 0.097. So P is the probability of getting side effects, or words to that effect. So we want to find out the probability that I'm going to get 51 or more patients. So the probability X is greater than or equal to 51. You can't do greater than or equal to on the calculator, so that's going to be 1 minus the probability of X is less than or equal to 50. So let's find out what that is. So we are going to go menu, we are going to go distribution, we are going to go binomial CD, the cumulative distribution, variable 50, n is 450, and p is 0.097. So the probability is 1 minus 0.862. So again, menu, back to the main calculations, 1 minus that last answer is 0.138. And that is bigger than the 0.10 significance level. So there is evidence to accept H1, and then we need to just finish off with something in context. There is evidence to accept H1. Wait, no, that's not true. The probability of happening is fairly common, so there is evidence to accept H0. It's common enough. Let's get it right around. It is common. 13-14% is more common than our 10% significance level, so it's not weird. So there is evidence to accept H0. Then in context, there is no evidence to suggest that probability of getting proportion of side effects is increasing. Okay. And question 12. Venn diagram shows the number of students studying various subjects in a year group of 100 students. A student is chosen at random from the 100 students, and another student is chosen from the remaining ones. Find the probability that the first student studies history, and the second student studies geography, but not psychology. Okay, so if we want the first student studying history, we could have, let's find, that first student could have history, geography, but not psychology. And the second would have geography and not psychology. So if I have a person that is history, geography, and not psychology, that would mean history, geography, and not psychology is 25 over 100. So that is that region there. That's your first person. And your second person is a geography, but not psychology. So if I've already picked from that one, that means there's 24 left in that section plus 12. That's 36 over 99. I could have it so that my second person does history, but not geography, and they could have history, they could have geography, and they could have psychology. So history, geography, and psychology means they're in that 3 in the middle. And then if they are in that 3 in the middle, then I want geography and not psychology. So there's 3 times 100, 3 over 100 in that one. So if I picked one from in the middle, there are still 37 that I can pick from that are geographers not doing psychology. And then I could have the case that I have a person that definitely does history and definitely doesn't do geography. So history but not geography. History but not geography, and then geography, not psychology. So history and not geography is 15. No. Yeah, that's 15 because you got 8 and 7. Is 8 and 7 over 100 multiplied by the 37 over 99. So probability, I get history and then a geography not person is the sum of all that. So let's find out what that is. 25 over 100 times 36 over 99 plus 3 over 100 times 37, oops, times 37 over 99 plus 8 plus 7, 15 over 100 times 37 over 99 is 87 over 550. Over 550. And that is that paper done.